Morning, everyone. Welcome to my second episode of the Icon Edit. Again, in my car. Maybe one day we'll move out of here, but baby steps, and you just got to do what you got to do to get action over perfection, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Anyway, okay, let's get into it. Today is the charisma code. What is it about certain people that just really is so alluring, so attractive? So, as soon as they walk into the room, they just grab everybody's attention. And more importantly, after they leave the room, everybody's still thinking about them. You know what I mean? So, why do they always get what is it about these people that always get that they're able to always get the attention, opportunities, um, all these things that, yeah, it seems so natural for them? But I've learned a lot of it is actually taught and a practice in a sense. So let's get into the secret of charisma. So charisma isn't just charm. Back in the olden days, charisma actually meant that someone shows God's favor. So charisma has been around for a while, something that people have been able to recognize, that feeling of like, whoa, that person really just has something about them. And they said if someone with charisma is someone who physically showed signs of God's favor, some sort of like divine endorsement. It's still a really rare energy, but it's not natural. It's something we can build through intention, presence, and a deep understanding of how we affect people, a little bit of self-awareness. So quickly before we get started, I just want to remind people that all of my resources are in the description below. All my resources are very, very good, very interesting. I mean, this art of seduction I think is controversial, as I said, but pick and choose and be careful. Yeah. Anyway, okay, first, independence is magnetic. We love an independent babe. The less you seem to need others, the more attractive you seem to be, the more people seem to want you. The less you seem to need others, the more other people seem to want you. This doesn't mean like pushing people away when they're trying to help. When they're trying to help, accept help. I think that is where femininity and community comes into play, but it just means being very self-sourced, very grounded, and driven by your own vision. Neediness is very repelling, I would say. The second aspect of naturally charismatic people, or not naturally, that's the whole point of this. The second aspect of charismatic individuals, they are like delusionally optimistic. Optimism is one of their key, it's one of their like personality islands. Charismatic people radiate positive energy. They really bring this light and excitement and possibility into any room. They're almost like delusional in the things that they believe they can do, but because they are believing delusional and truly believe they can do them, they're way more likely to do them, because half the people who have these grand ideas just don't have that faith in themselves, and so they never even really bother applying the energy. Whereas if you're delusionally optimistic, you're like, why the heck wouldn't I do it? Why the heck would I not get these opportunities? And so you're way more likely to put focused action into it. And so yeah, it's, I guess, a little scary. Everything within moderation, but delusional optimism I think is actually a very powerful trait, and it's something that is so attractive. People are so attractive to that person who's like, we can do it, we can do anything, and brings each other up and brings other people up around them. Okay, the third aspect of charismatic individuals, I wrote as no criticism, no clinginess, no combat. I don't remember what I meant by this. I wrote all my notes for this. Like I said, I've been planning, I don't know if I said this, but I've been planning to do this podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, for over 2 years now. So a lot of my notes and a lot of my resources and scripts even are from forever ago. So if it seems like I'm literally learning right along with you guys. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, so here's a big one. I said charismatic people never criticize and they never fight back. Okay, I remember this now. Yeah, because if someone comes at you, you either rise above them or lean into it with like some graceful vulnerability. If they're wrong, you win. If they're right, you still are kind of owning the situation by being humble. But charismatic people are never defensive. Something about it, defensive just comes off as kind of weak. Kind of like, you shouldn't need to feel like you need to defend yourself, I guess. It is poised, unbothered, and above the drama. Stay above the drama. Focus on your vision, and that's another thing that we'll get into. Charismatic people are very, very visionary, very action and purpose oriented. So you really shouldn't even have to worry about all the criticism, defending yourself, whatever. Just let them do them. And if they're rude about it, then you're a victim and everybody's going to take your side anyway. If they're right and everything they said was right by you not defending yourself and not combating the situation, then you're seen as very graceful and very poised with being wrong. Because sometimes, yeah, how people are wrong says a lot about them, if that makes sense. Okay, next. Whenever you can, under promise, over deliver. So always follow through. Always follows through. Always keep your word with yourself as well as others. That's a big one. I think charismatic people really keep their words with themselves. Like charismatic people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to start this business." A lot of people who don't have that charisma, when they say that, people kind of just discount them, but a charismatic person who's going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to start this business." You're like, "Oh shit, they're about to freaking start a business." Because yeah, you just want to be known as somebody who's going to under promise, over deliver every time. Like kind of just hint at things. They always say like, what is it? Work silently, celebrate openly, something like that. I think that's really big with charisma, because if you're just constantly making these huge like, "Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this," and nothing follows through, then you really lose a lot of that charisma slash like powerful air about you, I guess, you know. And as I said earlier, this is the fifth aspect of charismatic people. They have a vision and they share it. Charismatic people always seem to have purpose. They always have something bigger going on in their lives. They believe in something big. You want to give other people something to follow. So charismatic people have vision, and they usually have a big vision. It's usually a big part of their personality, having that purpose, having that vision, having something to strive for. And it's always a little bit, like we said, a little overly optimistic, perhaps. By giving yourself something to believe in, something to work towards, it also gives people around you something to believe in and something to work towards. It could be a dream, a mission, a business, a mindset, even just energy. Um, but let your life mean something and people will naturally want to follow you, because half of the people, I mean, come on, very few people have purpose. And so when they find somebody who has that definite purpose and a definite vision, there's just something very naturally alluring about that. And people love to follow something, especially something slash someone who's so definitive about what they're after and really just stop at nothing to get it. Let people feel lifted when they're near you. Sixth aspect of naturally, well, I have to stop saying that now, naturally. Sixth aspect of charismatic people. They're theatrical, but not flamboyant. So, what do I mean by that? The key between the two is self awareness. See yourself through the eyes of other people as often as you can. So that way you really know the effect you're creating and the effect you're really trying to create. So use tone, use expressions, use body language. There's sort of an art to it. Like I said, you use tone, expression, and body language like artists, but they're never charismatic people. They use, you know what I'm talking about. They use their hands, they have a very set tone. There is something about their actions and their demeanor that is very attractive, but they're never the ones doing the most. People who are overly theatrical, leaning on that like flamboyant side of things, charisma's gone. Is kind of like cringe, icky. So finding that key of self-awareness and really just stepping back and seeing yourself through the eyes of other people is huge. So it's never try hard energy, just super polished, super poised, and very present in your moment. Seventh aspect, be a mirror, be a screen, be fluid, is what I wrote. Truly charismatic people are uninhibited. They don't shrink or stiffen up, they flow. They let others see possibility in them. They become the screen people project their dreams onto. They're spontaneous, curious, and alive. You feel more like yourself when they're around them. I think that's just really saying is charismatic people, just through letting themselves live their dreams and let them believe they're possible, other people are able to like project that through you, and it makes you all the more attractive. Charismatic people are the ones who seem the most alive, the most excited to be alive, the most excited to have this one life and take advantage of every single day. And being around that is not only super addicting, but that is so attractive. That is so like people want to be that person who effort or not effortlessly, uninhibitedly chasing after their dreams, and just absolutely loving every single failure, every single success, every single moment, every single dip and fall throughout the ride, because any vision is going to take a lot of dips and falls. So if you just learn to love that whole experience the way people you know as charismatic do, it's quite the game changer. But yeah, that's what I mean. Be brave. Believe fully is my next point. So let me just read here. There's a difference between pretending to care and truly caring. Charismatic people have fervor. They believe in people, ideas, and purpose. They aren't constantly doubting themselves. They don't second guess their presence, and it shows. So yeah, just believe 100% in what you're doing. Don't let those feelings of doubt creep in, because that is, you're going to lose any charismatic charisma. You're going to lose any of the charisma that you've been working to get. Um Charismatic don't self-doubt, they just reevaluate. Anyway, this is all just what I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm the most charismatic person. I'm learning right along with you guys. This is just, like I said, all from my resources. From the resources below. So then my ninth point is vulnerability is power. This part is really overlooked, but by willing to be vulnerable, it's so overlooked. Charismatic people aren't cold, they're very open. They reveal their desire for connection, they show their heart. They don't need love, but they want it, and that's like magnetic. Imagine speaking to a whole audience, but making each person feel like you're speaking to them. That's the move. Okay, well, that's kind of silly of my notes, but basically, be vulnerable, be open about your feelings, about your emotions, about you wanting to love and have relationships with people, I guess. Okay, my 10th point for my 10th characteristic of charismatic people are they're very brave. They're even, like, dare I say, heroic. They have this heroic aura to them. Charisma requires boldness. People are drawn to those who take risks, especially for others. If you want people to admire you, let them see you be brave. Let them watch you stand up, show up, and care out loud. Fear, timidity, shrinking back, none of this reads as magnetic. Courage does, obviously. Be the hero for yourself and for others. Um, Take the brave leap. Be bold in your actions. I think that is a big key of charisma. Just going head in, knowing that between you and yourself and everything you have at your fingertips, you can figure it out. Even if you fail 1,000 times, just be brave enough to go into it. It is very alluring. People are very interested in that. People, because it's so rare. It's rare to be able to be brave and just throw yourself headfirst into any and everything that comes your way and love the spiral ride after. My 11th point, they really use their eyes. There's a lot of power in your eyes. So practice this, being calm while your eyes stay alert and gazed. Okay, it says practice this, being calm still while your eyes are alert and gazed. Your eyes say everything. Control them, play with this effect. Learn what different gazes communicate. A powerful gaze is hypnotic, and it's 100% a learnable skill. So I think you really have to practice this in the mirror, because if you try to have that alert look with the still face without really thinking about it, it's going to look crazy. So make sure you practice in the mirror. But it really makes a huge difference. I remember, I think it's Teddy Roosevelt. He learned how to naturally dilate his eyes on commands, and it was known to be very, like, hypnotizing and intimidating. A very, very important skill. 12th aspect of charismatic people, be slightly mysterious. Charisma isn't obvious. It's not desperate to be liked. It's the mystery, the inexplicability that keeps people intrigued. You don't have to spill every detail. Let some things remain unsaid. Confidence isn't just knowing your worth. It's not needing to prove it. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone, including yourself. You already know your own worth. You don't have to overshare about everything you're doing. Yes, be open and excited about your visions, but don't ever share every single aspect. Like I said earlier, work quietly, celebrate openly. Don't tell people what you're planning. Don't go into details. Keep it very mysterious, and also keep it seeming effortless. It kind of goes hand in hand. If you don't overshare everything that you're doing, everything that all the effort going into a project, a vision, whatever, you become all the more, like, mystical when you get it done, because you just kept it under wraps and it seems like it came out of nowhere. So yeah, mystery, as I've learned doing research for the show, is kind of everything. Don't share too much. Keep your mouth shut a lot of the time. Yeah. Okay. This is my last point. Blah. Last point. 13 aspect that makes people naturally charismatic, naturally alluring. Language, how you speak is huge. Charismatic people choose their words very carefully. They don't ramble, they don't or light their way through a sentence. Even if you're feeling the energy rise, so even if you're feeling that anxious energy rise where you can't find the words, just breathe. Pause instead of filling silence with a filler. Your words should have weight. Let them land. I'm gonna get into like speaking. Speaking is gonna be a whole episode, maybe even more. There's something very powerful about your words, how they're delivered and when they're delivered, when you choose to stay silent, what you choose to share. All goes very hand in hand with charisma and power. Anyway, so this has kind of gotten a little long, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Please share all of your personal charisma, what you've noticed either about charismatic people or what you've done to become more charismatic in the comments. And please bring all our icons and training to the show. I just want to make a massive, super database of hot girl knowledge on this channel, and we'll become all so hot together if we just make a giant super community of hot women. So bring all your friends and like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff. And thank you so much for watching. I can't remember what shoot. I know I had something last time that I said before. So the next time you're wondering if you're iconic, ask yourself, are you growing? Are you glowing? Are you gracious? Because being iconic is not about being seen or known. It's about being unforgettable. And until next time, stay gorgeous, stay overeducated. Thank you guys.